You're listening to The Good Morning Show with Oliver O.T. Thomas.
We're back. Welcome back to The Good Morning Show. Oliver O.T. Thomas, the early bird, and the entire WBOK listening audience. Man, we want to thank all of our sponsors, all of our listeners out there at 12:30 a.m. land, everybody at 1230am.com, everyone who has the mobile app, all the folk who've tuned in on social media, Facebook Live, at Oliver Thomas 57 on Instagram, OT Lower 9 all time on Instagram, and Upset O on Twitter. Thank y'all so much for listening to and sponsoring and being part of Oliver Thomas and the Good Morning Show family. Want to thank Brother Kashif, man, for what does Jeff Thomas say? Making us think. And if we're not thinking for ourselves, someone else is thinking for you. We appreciate, man, your time, your life, and your commitment, especially for going back and helping others. But for the grace of God, there go I. We want to welcome back to the studio Miss Robin Martin, President of New Orleans Legacy Association of Bands. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Thanks for having me.
And Mr. Terry Fryson, a member of Services Director. Guys, thank y'all so much. So tell us about HBCU Band Combine. Man, sound like the NFL getting ready for the NFL draft, man.
Well, it was inspired by the NFL Combine.
Right.
A year ago, I was watching the NFL Combine, and I said, hey, why don't we do this for our New Orleans kids?
Love it.
And what we wind up doing is creating a program in which historically black colleges and universities will come down to the mecca of marching bands, which is New Orleans, Louisiana.
Absolutely.
And come see some of the prime musicians.
Talent. Come pick up the talent.
Come pick up the talent.
The draft talent.
Yes.
I love that concept.
Yes. We put together a whole program. It's from 9 to 3, and they'll be able to take seminars while they audition. So they're broken up into 4 different groups, woodwinds, upper brass, lower brass, and percussion. And what they'll do is they'll have 45 minutes with these band directors to audition. And while one particular group is auditioning, they will be taking seminars. And all these seminars are catered to preparing them for college. We have one seminar with financial aid and financial preparedness. Most kids do not know how to fill out a financial aid form while going to college. Most kids probably do not have a bank account.
Right.
So we're bringing people in to teach them on how to get financial aid and have a bank account while they're away to college. Another seminar we have is HIV and AIDS awareness. Because it's very prominent in the black community that Baton Rouge is number 1 in AIDS, and not too far behind is New Orleans.
2, 3, 4, 5, one of them.
They're 2
right.
in the state, and they need that information, especially going off to another state.
Now, the other thing, Dan, this is the beauty, Robin Martin and Terry Fryson. The beauty of this is that what a lot of folk don't know, man, especially most colleges, they have a band. Especially they march during football season, and we know in SWAC they compete. They're competitive. We know that many of the band members historically have moved on to play in music. We know, and that the world is kind of getting back to instruments away from that synthesizer. And the coup de grace is if you're a good musician, they'll help you either you can get a scholarship, but they'll help put together a financial aid package for you.
Yep. That's kind of what happened to me when I was in school. I played trombone in high school. And even though I didn't major in music, I got both an scholarship for academics and for band.
And where'd you go?
I went to Norfolk State University in Virginia. And so as a result, I don't have as much student loans as some of my friends may have. So we want to make sure that we're giving the students here the same opportunities that we had pre-Katrina. And that's why we decided, look, we need to bring everybody in one place so that they can audition for multiple schools. And then that'll, increase their chances of getting some scholarship money.
I remember several years ago, a young woman who's not from here but made New Orleans her home by the name of Molly Thomas. One of the things that, and when you talk to so many people who've made New Orleans their residence, Ms. Fryson, it's the culture and the music. And because she was a singer and part of a band, just New Orleans and its traditions, man, and just what we do differently here with our favor, attracted her to move here. And then when she got involved in music, she started to see, this is post-Katrina, that a place that was rich for its bands, high school bands, junior high school bands, our kids didn't have instruments in many cases, how the band culture in school was dying. So she started this effort to start amongst a lot of her friends to donate their old instruments and get them to the high schools. I've heard so many people say that one of the most important things about New Orleans, it's our gumbo, it's our food, it's our music, but it's our band music culture too.
Yes,
right.
Talk about how important it is to maintain that.
You want to take this one, Terry?
It's very, very important to maintain that, and I would like to say...
Terry, you're a musician?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I graduated from Eleanor McMain High School, and I was one of the founding members of the marching band down there at McMain in 1995.
Right.
So it's very, very important because it leads to other things. Mm-hmm. If I like to mention some stars that came about from the New Orleans culture, Cortez Bryant, the COO of Young Money Entertainment, was a cymbal player and received a scholarship to Jackson State University where he majored in business and was able to put together Young Money with Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne also marched in the band as well. Terrence Blanchard, who graduated from John F. Kennedy High
Grammy Award winning, Oscar nominated.
There's so many others within New Orleans. They had to go through the marching band process to become to get to the levels that they are. That laid the foundation.
I see one of the themes you guys say for the band combine is get seen, get heard, get recruited. Love it. Get seen, get heard, get recruited. How dangerous is it, especially given our current school academic environment? We know extracurricular activities are in jeopardy. If you're not playing some of the big sports, we know that band, music, art, hobbies being eliminated from the school system. What do you say to our educators at the state board and locally about that?
It keeps kids out of trouble. The arts itself keeps kids out of trouble. It keeps them off the streets. It lowers crime rates. If kids do not have anything to do, they sit idle. And the famous quote is, the idle mind is the devil's workshop. So it's an increase in crime. It's an increase in just because the kids are bored. And without after-school programs such as band, such as arts, such as sports, these kids have no avenue on where to go.
So walk us through how do people qualify for this? What do they need to do to participate? And how are they part of these this camp? This combine, rather, not combine.
Well, you can register on NOLALegacyBands.org and follow the links. It'll direct you in saying, well, you're a student or a vendor, and they go through the process. They select what schools that they are interested in, what instrument they play, whether they're a junior or a senior, their classification. It's also open to students who've graduated high school and who want the opportunity to march and gain a scholarship, who passed up on an opportunity. Now, I'm one of those students that passed up on an opportunity. I had offers to actually perform in concert bands, but with most of us, life happens, so we passed up on that opportunity.
And did you come back and take advantage of it?
No, I just wound up going to school, graduating, and getting my degree.
But now you're back.
Now I'm back.
There's another part of this event, Ms. Martin, that's happening, and that is the dance clinic, hosted by Talladega Diamond alumni Darion Burks.
Yeah. So during the planning of the combine and going out to different schools to speak to the students about it, one thing that a lot of students kept saying was, are y'all going to have something for the dance? And so we know our marching or auxiliary units are just as important as the actual band. So we said, come on, we got it. And the other thing was they wanted to know specifically what are they looking for when they audition for college bands, because it is different. And sometimes they've known girls that hadn't got in because they didn't know certain things for the audition. So that's why we decided to include them in that.
And I think that's important because, there's something natural and rhythmic about dancing, especially in our culture. But when you talk about choreograph, dance, right? They're looking for certain moves that, like ballet de plie, they're looking for certain moves that that are part of choreography.
Right.
So explain that, how it's, it's different. Modern dance versus just free flow dance. That expert, if you're part of a group, if you want to be a sensation, if you want to be part of a marching band, they're looking for certain moves that you need to learn or you should have been taught.
Right, yeah. So, like you said, in New Orleans, we just naturally gifted music, dance,
Second line. Just start hitting on beat the garbage can, right, Terry?
Right.
And I even had that problem when I went to college. Like, I had to kind of hone in my New Orleans-ness and get a little more discipline.
You had to do what?
I had to hone in my New Orleans-ness.
Right.
But yeah, there are certain things, certain techniques, certain moves that you do need to know, and they're all probably very basic for trained dancers. But a lot of us, like I said, we kind of do it on our own. So it's important that they know what exactly these people are looking for, so they have a better chance of getting on the squad.
There's basic things for trained dancers, but there's also basic things for in terms of the choreography of the band. And marching,
right,
in certain types of songs, because as funky as Southern and Grambling are, they can play all kinds of music, from classical to from the Rose Bowl to the Bayou Classic.
Correct.
There's certain level of appropriateness depending on the crowd or the setting.
Correct. Like most recently, Southern marched in the parade in Baton Rouge, and they had to adjust for that type of crowd because it was more of a LSU type crowd versus a Southern University HBCU
versus
type
a
crowd.
New Orleans,
right?
Versus a New Orleans crowd,
right?
It's different topography.
Yeah, and New Orleans is so influential on the HBCU outlook that certain styles have been adopted by HBCUs from New Orleans. I can give you an example: the tenor drum. Well, Forche, R.I.P.
The late Forche.
Unfortunately, they had a funky dance to them, and once those guys graduated and went to Southern, they brought it to Southern, and now Southern adopts that style, and that's pretty much all.
That's New Orleans impact all over the world.
Yeah. They a lot of guys they leave here and get those scholarships and go to those HBCUs, and they bring that style with us.
I had a conversation. I tell folk Noah Stewart was one of our guests. One of the leading operatic voices in the world today. Young brother out of New York. He loves New Orleans. They did Tosca at Mahalia Jackson a few years ago, and when I was interviewing him, he talked about that New Orleans flavor. He said that New Orleans musician, he says he knows, his ear is trained to know when it's a New Orleans musician.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's pretty much.
There's a certain cadence in the beat.
Right. New Orleans musicians have a little chip on their shoulder, especially when they go to other places.
What do you mean by that?
Like, we have a certain swag or a certain.
Right.
So when you say, hey, I'm from New Orleans, even when you travel out of state yourself, it's a New Orleanian period.
Right.
Oh, you from New Orleans.
Right.
You know, we get that a lot when a lot of transplants went to Baton Rouge, went to Houston, and said, oh, you from New Orleans. So you know you coming with some kind of flavor, style.
When I first I went to school, I'm telling my age, in 2000. And this is when I really found out how impactful New Orleans bands were. Because I went up there to Virginia, and they had VHS tapes of our bands that they were showing me, and I'm like, where did you get that from?
Right.
And they was like, you from New Orleans? Oh, I got y'all. And I went to McDonald 35, so they said, I got McDonald 35 versus Reed. I got Kennedy versus St. I was like, how do y'all have
We have been
stuff?
doing these challenges for years.
Yeah, and that's why we call ourselves the Mecca, because I like to say, like, in Congo Square, that's where the first all-star band started. When all of the slaves came from and they came together and they played music and dance. So that's why we say it's the Mecca of marching bands. But New Orleans marching band culture has a far-reaching effect, and it does permeate into HBCUs.
Guys, we're having our conversation right now with Miss Robin Martin, president of the New Orleans Legacy Association of Bands, Mr. Terry Fryson, member services director, HBCU Band Combine, Saturday, March the 23rd. Take us through that day. Well, first of all, where do people go to get signed up? Who do they contact right now? How do they make sure they can participate?
They can contact me at 225-733-7543. They can go online to NOLALegacyBands.org and follow the links to register your child for the combine.
Is there a fee?
No fee. Everything's free.
Huh?
Free 99.
That's better than cheap.
Yeah. Everything is free. All the services are free. They're going to get fed for free.
Now, what about folk who just want to watch that talent and be there that day?
Come on down.
Okay.
You're more than welcome to invite it. The more the merrier. I'm putting New Orleans on display. That's what NOLA Legacy Bands is doing. We are putting
it's the combine, man. We have ESPN, MTV.
Eventually.
Yeah, right. Even though they don't do music anymore. BET.
WBOK.
WBO. W to the B to the OK. Now, we get there. We've signed up. We're participating. Walk us through that day.
The day starts at 9 a.m. Everybody will congregate in McMain's gym. We feature a New Orleans marching band, high school. The whole school, Eleanor McMain Marching Band, will be marching and introducing the college band directors. And we have a guest speaker that's going to fly all the way down from Virginia, Mr. Paul Adams. He's the former director of Norfolk State, and he's going to encourage the kids and give them a good pep talk before they go in and audition. Auditions start at 10 a.m., starting with the woodwinds. While the woodwinds are auditioning, other sections will be in class, and it's a class rotation.
So there'll actually be, before you go to audition, there's an opportunity to help you prepare for the audition.
Right.
So in the classes, what are we learning in the classes?
HIV/AIDS awareness.
Okay. All right.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
some real life stuff.
Everything they don't teach you in high school will be at that combine to prepare them for college. Wow. So now talk about the dances with Darion Burks, because we got our musicians here. We know when you look at a band, it's not just the people who play the instruments. There are those other groups, those external groups that make up that band. What is a young woman or a young man who wants to dance? What do they do and what do they need to be part of the clinic?
It's the same as with the musicians. All you have to do is go and register, and you'll be able to participate in the dance workshops. So we'll have the dance workshop all day. Are we giving them an opportunity to go to the classes?
Well, those facilitators reached out. They will be reaching out to the dancers as well.
So what happens, Robin Martin, Terry Fryson? You see someone that has some potential. They didn't maybe like taking tests. They know the material, but they lock up, man, when it comes time to take the test. You hear some talent. You see some talent, but they didn't do that good during the interview, or during the what do you call
audition?
During the audition. Is there an opportunity for them to link up with someone to help prepare them for another time, or someone who says, hey, look, come back next year, right? Work on this, and this we think will get you over the hump?
Yes, we actually have something in place for the kids to, once they audition and they feel like that they didn't perform to their standards, we partner with that high school band director and relate to them, hey, this is what they're working on. That's what they need to work on, A, B, C, and D, and can they be ready for next year's audition?
And that's the other part of the combine, because we need to know what is it that our students don't have to prepare them for next year. So once we and we'll have like an assessment they'll have to do so that we can know what we have to improve on, what we need to teach them in order for them to be able to audition.
So are people from the school board or the school systems, it seems to me like they need to be there too, because it seems like a natural partnership, especially given the fact that this is part of our culture. We want to save this culture, but we also want to be in a position to take advantage of this. Are they going to be there?
We've reached out.
If someone from the school board is listening,
please come.
This should be a natural alliance, natural allegiance here, especially because your kids with some talent, there's an opportunity for them to be recruited take advantage of these auditions, get financial packages and scholarships to go to college, whether it's dance, whether it's band, whether it's some of the auxiliary activities that happen with the band. So if you're listening, please get in touch with the New Orleans Legacy Association of Bands, and they can reach out where?
www.nolalegacybands.org, or you can reach one of us, reach out at Fryson at NOLALegacyBands.org or Robin.Martin@NOLALegacy.
Because that would seem to be real natural, especially going forward in the future, to have the public school system combine and be a sponsor or be part of this, man, would be major.
We would love that. There was one that was supposed to come, but they canceled. So,
okay.
and we're not really sure why. But we would love to have a partnership. We even have a proposal for a year-round program that can take almost 300 kids off the street each year. And it'll include interaction with law enforcement, with their environment, with themselves. We want to take care of the whole person. So we've been reaching out, and we are all about community partnerships. So not only the school board, if anyone wants to partner with us to make these opportunities for these kids, please contact us.
And the local universities, are they going to be there to participate? Have they been?
We do have some. Would you like me to read that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So coming to the Combine, we have Talladega College, Southern University at New Orleans and Baton Rouge, Miles College, Langston University, Jackson State, Hampton University, Grambling State, Central State, Alabama State.
What?
And that's it for now.
What about Tulane, Loyola, LSU, Xavier?
Well, we don't have anyone from Xavier, but it is an HBCU Band Combine.
Okay.
So this year we're focusing on connecting them to black colleges.
Okay, that's specific. Okay,
yes.
Gotcha,
Mm-hmm.
gotcha. Wow, what an interesting concept. Terry and Robin, I love the Combine concept, man, taking it from the NFL, bring these kids to, and where's it going to be?
It's going to be at Eleanor McMain Secondary School, 5712 South Claiborne Avenue.
Mm-hmm. Anything you guys want to add before we round this segment out or close it out? We'll start with you, Mr. Fryson, and we'll end with the boss lady.
Yes, I want to mention two more colleges reached out, Howard University and Clark Atlanta University. They want video auditions. They're unable to come down, but they want to come down next year, but they want video auditions as well. They're very interested.
Madam President, I see this, there's so much potential, and I see this growing into maybe a feature camp or combine where kids at the end of the day from all over the region can come, even all over the country can come to display their musical talent or their dance talent. I see it and I feel it right now.
Yes, you have the same vision as we do. We want to make sure all kids have opportunities.
And anything else you want to add before we close out this segment?
Nothing. Just come on out to the Combine.
Come on out to the Combine, and that is this Saturday at Eleanor McMain Secondary School from 9 to 3. Display your music or your dance talents, man, and you never know. There's an opportunity, like you said, to get seen, get heard, and get recruited. For those parents who are out there listening, if a kid has some musical talent or potential, man, financial scholarships, financial packages, and music scholarships are available out there. Take advantage of this opportunity. Prepare your kid from now till Saturday, and at least if nothing else, bring them there so that they can see what they need to learn. So when because this the first annual, right?
Right.
We're gonna have the second annual, right?
Right.
So that when we do this next year, or when the school board finally realizes they ought to have a partnership with this entity, and y'all have a year-round partnership, we can at least begin to take advantage of all the opportunities for advanced education and advanced career for our kids. Terry Fryson and Robin Martin with the New Orleans Legacy Association of Bands, y'all promise to come back and keep us updated in the future?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Thank y'all so much. And, oh, yes, talking about music, when we come back, guess what we're going to be talking to President Martin? We're going to be talking to Joy Prophet. She's the communications general manager for Essence.
I might need to stick
For
around.
Essence, you may want to. She'll be on. I don't think she'll be in the studio. She'll be on the phone. But I'm going to talk to her about this because Essence may want to send somebody to watch in the future as this grows. Yeah. But Economic Inclusion Initiative by Essence Communications. You don't want to miss that conversation. And at 9:30, should college athletes be paid? James Galata and Fritz Metzinger of the Stone Pigment Law Firm, a ruling that may open the door. We'll be back after the break.